After I do, after I do.
And ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Another episode of After I Do. Thank you all for listening on all of the audio platforms. And thank you for watching on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are watching.
What's up, party people?
Make sure you hit the share button. Tell your folks about April and Royale. All right, so now that we are looking forward to the fall, I don't even know if looking forward to, leaning into, we don't have a choice. This thing is moving and it feels like a runaway train. We are continuing to manage our way through a COVID environment. And with two young men that are in college, we are continuing to monitor the emails to figure out what is going to be the situation for the fall. Will there be in school or on campus learning, or will they be returning to COVID State University here in Southern California, which is Casa de Watkins? I think the latest and the greatest is that Hampton University has announced that all of the fall semester will be virtual learning, which we feel good about. And I think we're still waiting for information about Howard University and how they plan to manage their fall semester for.
Well, they did put something out, but
and what was that?
Think
What's
it's
the latest information?
Latest information is that they were going to have the kids come back to school, fewer kids per room. So if it was a 4 quad, no more of that, probably just a 2, and that they were going to do online and some in actual, what would you say, in class assignments?
Sure.
But with limited space. So that doesn't make sense to me because, it just doesn't make sense. I don't want to send my kid back to the East Coast or wherever they're going to a room with someone and then decide, oh yeah, this isn't working, we're going to go online. Now you have the kids on campus. Like, you need to make your mind up now. As this thing is progressing, I think, and I'm hopeful that they will change their mind and do something like Hampton.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that a lot of these schools there's so much money at stake. The thing that I'm sure is driving most of their considerations and their decisions right now is how do we maintain as much of the money? I think
I feel bad.
Who is it? One of these Ivy League schools, Harvard, announced that they will go to full online learning, virtual learning in the fall. But they are maintaining their desire to charge the full tuition that they've been charging for in classroom learning. Which I'm sure a lot of people go, you have to be out of your damn mind to think that I'm supposed to pay you the full rate. And I have to utilize my own resources at my house, my apartment, my parents' place, or whatever. So it just does not feel like an equal exchange based on what the previous agreement and arrangements were.
Sad.
I think the other thing that comes to mind for me is that we are busy telling these children, these school-age children, that we need them back in classes in the fall. The push by the president and a lot of these governors are, we want these children, public schools, that most of us, this stuff is being driven by the public schools. We want these kids in school in the fall.
But why are they?
Because what happens is, if you don't have the kids in school, what you do is you put a challenge on these families to be able to provide adequate child care for them. And so now you have all of these blue-collar workers scrambling to try to figure out how do you find some balance in maintaining your work life with your family life when you don't have your kids being cared for and taken care of by the school system for 8 hours.
That is a huge thing. You are right.
There's the implications of this are so much more far-reaching than people pay attention to. Because if your kids don't have a place they have to stay home, somebody has to be there with them. And there's just the daycare system, much like, I'm not going to say as much as the medical system, but the daycare system, we don't have the infrastructure to be able to provide the kind of support that these parents would need if the children are now home 7 days a week, all day, every day. And
It's gonna
you're,
be.
you're also going to have a situation where, like, the mental health of parents are going to be pushed to the breaking point, especially for those people who don't have the resources of living in a house and who don't have the resources of having the outdoor space to be able to have these children get out and run around and burn off the energy they need to burn off, right? So that they can go to sleep. And yeah, it's just a lot. It's so much more involved
It
than I
really
think
is.
people are paying attention to.
Right, because what if you, like you said, you have two blue collar workers that are still essential per se. So let's pick New York City. One is a conductor or in the train system because
And I thought
transportation
you
did
like
not stop.
feel like the what conductor in a theater. Okay, trains.
Train, something to deal with the transit system. So they're still operating,
I thought you meant
maybe.
this conductor is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Train
Conductor.
conductor.
That's like,
And then you have a mom that may work at a grocery store, still open. So they both have to go to work.
yeah,
They have to be out of the house. They got a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, and maybe a 7-year-old.
it's back to back
It's
sets if it's two or
everything
three.
that, daycare, first grade, all home. He has to go work. She needs to go to do whatever she's doing, even if she's a nurse or whatever. They both have to be out the house because they are essential. There are a lot of essential workers that need to go out. What does that look like? That is so unfortunate
Yeah,
because everybody is not a stay at home mom. They don't have that luxury. Everybody, you know, probably 70 or 80% of people leave the house. They have to leave the house physically to go work unless they're working from home already. And even if, let's say you are, one parent is home working, they don't have an office space where they can say, okay, I'm actually going to one of those little WeWork or I got a little office space. They have to really have Zoom meetings. They have products they have to launch. They have whatever. And on this side, it's a toddler, another, whatever the case may be. It's going to be a lot of, what's the word, mental health issues. It's going to be a lot of, if people don't realize or maintain the structure of the house, it could be really bad because people are going to be, they're going to, there's no outlet, especially if you're in an apartment, cramped. You were already cramped and maybe saving for the house or cramped just because it is what it is. And you look forward to every day, they're going to school. They're not going to school. How about the people that really don't have a computer at home? They don't. They counted on their kids going to school and using the laptop that was afforded for the class. You know how Apple or Dell go in and they get each kid a computer, but it's for the use at home. I mean, excuse me, at school. Not everybody has a computer. You got to look at it. There are
well,
a
even
lot of people that
listen,
don't have the bare essential. A printer is a luxury because it's not the printer. That's the catch. We learned the hard way. You could get a great printer for $40. The ink is $70. That's the problem, the ink. So we take a lot for granted, and people just can't afford this right now.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of the back end services again that people don't pay attention to. You talk about
Wow.
people who have laptops and computers, but another thing that becomes a challenge is bandwidth and right. If you're virtually
Right.
learning, right, you have to be able to get online, right. We struggle just here at a
Yeah.
house, right, and we pay God upwards of $100 and some dollars a month
For
for
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi, right. Just imagine people who don't have the luxury of spending out. That's $1,200 a year, right? Just on Wi-Fi, so a kid can connect and get on a computer to learn virtually. And what if you got more than one child? What if you got two or three kids? Right? You got to have two or three computers, and all of them sucking up that bandwidth to stay connected. It's right. So the push is nope. Get these kids back in school. Let's get the teachers back to work.
Yeah.
Right. But nobody is. I think that we just
There's no plan. You
there's
can't.
such a roll of the dice approach to trying to resolve this, and nobody's putting their foot down like and being the grown up saying no, we got to
Thank
stop
you.
this thing completely and sort out from top to bottoms. So I say my time in the military, will always resort to, and because the structure of the military will give you a kind of processes that will allow you to go from the top down. How do we fix this thing? To devise a plan and to go execute the plan.
Right.
And it just feels like we don't have like critical thinkers executing on a plan that has end result that people have thought about. It's just these stop starts, and we'll see what
Yeah.
happens. And
Nothing has
it's
been concrete
problematic.
in the USA. Nothing. I went to a food place the other day and got some food, and the person that owns the little mom and pop shop, told me, she was like, in 2 weeks in California, they plan on shutting it down. And she said, and if that happens, I'll have to decide if I'm going to work or not. She said, because the last one, I continued to serve food, what she was doing for me. She said, the next one, I don't think I can afford to put my family at risk. That's what she said. And I'm like, in 2 weeks, she was like, so I would think that the food people, the grocery stores, like the people that need the information to kind of plan their strategy, get information way before we do. So here I am just picking up something and she's giving me information I'm not privy to. I didn't hear that online. I haven't heard that in the news, but because she handles food, I'm assuming the restaurants
There's some
are,
guidelines
yeah,
that
some
they have to be
guidelines
aware of.
that in 2 weeks it may be a complete shutdown. I'm like, I'm looking at her. She was like, yeah, this might happen in 2 weeks. They told us. And I'm like, whoa. So to stop and, like Royale said, stop and start, stop and start. Why don't we just say everybody, food preparers, gas stations, post office, nobody move unless you work at a hospital or transportation so people can get to work. I understand people at the hospitals. Other than that, I don't see emergency for your air, water, anything like that. They only get dispatched if there's an emergency. A wire down, lights out in the neighborhood, only emergencies. And they have to decide what those things are. Not the grocery store, not Chick-fil-A, not anybody. Everybody stay your ass at home because our Chick-fil-A just had an employee with COVID and they had to shut down for like 3 to 4 days. Another restaurant we like, same thing. Somebody came in, they found out they had to shut down. So they're not foolproof. How about everybody just stop? Let's just stop. We got to do what Italy did. We have to do what Spain did. We have to do what China did, and we have not. There's more people out chilling, beach, people. It's just it's crazy. It's crazy, and it's never going to stop. We're always going to be in this stop, start, stop, start, stop, start until we just learn to live with it and pray you don't get it. I think that's how it's going to be because there's nobody, if you were in the military and they have that rule of figuring out what the problem is, how to execute it, and then just doing it, I don't see how
plan of action.
45 doesn't have a plan of action. He has no clue. He has no clue, and he's guiding us. Man, we are in bad shape.
Administrative chaos. People aren't talking and listening and working together.
And he's a bully.
To fix the situation. So, I don't know. That's it. Yeah, I think that, again, what most of you all need to make a decision about is what you feel comfortable doing and not following like the kind of bandwagon mentality of, oh, this is what they're doing and it must be right. No, do your research, right? Don't risk putting your child in an environment that you know is toxic and unhealthy and could become a petri dish for, look, kids already share. You take one kid with a snotty nose and send them to school, right? Within a short period of time, you're going to have every kid in that school with a snotty nose. Now, take and replace snotty nose with a virus that's killing people by the thousands per day in this country. So if you feel like getting dressed to go to a baby funeral, then you really need to consider that when you start sending your child or your children back to school in the fall. If they have not shared a foolproof plan for being able to manage kids back in and say, oh, we absolutely can guarantee that your child will be safe. And nobody can do that.
Nobody.
So, I know we all want to work. We all want to eat. We all want to make money.
And we all want to travel. We want to do a lot of stuff.
We all want to live.
Yeah.
We all want to live. So, y'all be careful out there. Enjoy your family. Enjoy, get out and get some fresh air, but make wise decisions. All right?
Yes.
We'll see you guys on the next episode of After I Do. We out.
Bye.
After I do, I do, I do. After I do.